Hello everyone and welcome back. This is our demo number 6 using the Loft tool. So in this particular demo I want to show how Loft will behave like a sweep tool. So if you remember when we're using the sweep tool, the shape that we got in front is the same shape that we're going to end on the back. So this is not the case with the Loft tool. We can change things along the way, and that's what I want to show you. This tool is great for organic elements, bottles, legs, handles, things of that sort. So first thing that I'm going to do is, as I mentioned in class, when we're doing our sweeps, the first thing that we need to draw is always our path. So in order to create our path, I'm going to go to my top plane, and I'm going to trace my path. Again, it's not a regular extrusion, it's not a revolve, it's an open loft, but I want to have control of how the loft behaves along the way. So first thing that I'm going to do is trace my path. Remember, when we're using splines, I always like to turn on the option called Display Control Polygon. That way I have greater control of how tight or how relaxed the curve will behave along the way. So I'm going to say for my handle, that's pretty good. I'm going to hit OK. And I got our part number 1. So if you remember when we were doing sweeps, once you have your path, the next thing that we need to do is have a plane at the end of the compound curve. In this case is this one, right? And trace your profile right there. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to create my plane that is perpendicular to this curve right here. As you can see here is a compound curve. So none of these planes will work, right? So I need to create my plane here. So reference geometry plane. Don't forget, we only need 2 references to create my plane here. Reference number 1 is going to be my spline. So click anywhere on your spline, but try to avoid the endpoints because that's going to create something else. So I'm going to click on top of my line. You're going to have a big plane on top of the spline, and that's not what we need. So that's my reference 1, and my reference 2, I'm going to click at the end point of my path. So now I have this huge plane, but that's what we need. We need a plane that is perpendicular to this particular point on my spline. Planes don't have a size, but this is huge. So what I like to do always is resize it. So I have a visual idea of how big my profile is going to be if I'm quick sketching a quick model, right? Ergonomic model. So that's it. That's my plane number 1. But I mentioned that I want to have this behaving differently from a regular sweep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the shape along the way. So if we want to do that, I also need to create planes at a certain points on my spline. So I'm going to create a new plane right here. Same deal. I'm going to click on my line, click at that particular control point, and then I'm going to have a plane where I want it to be perpendicular at this point on my line. Same as before, I don't need a huge plane. I like to resize it right away. And last but not least, I'm gonna need a plane right at the other end. So I'm gonna go same tool, reference plane, reference geometry plane, click on your line, click at the end point, and now I have a plane at the end. Just really quickly, I'm gonna resize it. There we go, and that's it. So what I like to do is I'm gonna start with a circle. So I'm gonna sketch a circle right here. The really cool thing about creating planes at the endpoint is that SolidWorks will move the origin right with the intersection between the plane and the line R. So I know that that's the center of, or that should be the center of my profile. So I'm going to start with a circle here. Snap it in place. There we go. We got our sketch number 1. Again, same rule applies. Remember, the profile should be smaller than the tightest curve. So this is a little big right now. So I'm just going to go ahead quickly and resize it. I want to have a really nice smooth sweep. If this is too big and I don't have enough room, it's not gonna look good, right? I'm forcing that shape in this tight curve, so I don't want to do that. So on my second one, I'm gonna place an ellipse horizontally located, right? So it looks like it's laying down. So that'll be my sketch number 2. Again, I created my handle. And for the final one, I'd like to end up with an ellipse in vertical fashion. So I'm going from circle to a horizontal ellipse to a vertical ellipse. So it's changing along the way. There's no way that I can do this when I'm doing a regular sweep. So Loft, it will be the great option for this. So same as before, Loft, I'm gonna pick the top from here to here to here. And if I go normal to the top, you're gonna see that Loft is creating a connection between my entities. That's what I want, and that's perfect. But if I look at my path right here in orange, right, it's not following the path that I needed to follow, right? So Loft is doing its job, but it's not what I wanted. So what I needed to do now, and that's the reason why I have my path drawn in the first place, it's go under Loft tool. And whenever you need to use Loft as a sweep tool, you're going to use this tool called centerline parameters. So I'm going to open this up. And right here, you kind of see the 2 sketches right in the middle. So here it's asking you for, where's your path? So my path is right here. And now you see how the overall design is changing shape, but also is following my path. Hit OK. Now I'm going to end up with this really organic, soft, and smooth shape. Great. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys, that we can use Loft also as a sweep tool. Again, if you're mirroring this on the other side, don't forget you can also use normal to profile under end constraints and normal to profile on the other side. And then if I like, and I'm doing just half of the handle, I can also mirror this with bodies to mirror, obviously, from this face, and you're gonna have beautiful tangent object right here. You're not gonna see any seams. So let me turn this off. We're gonna get this really nice shape with no problems, no tangency problems. So if I wanna check that out, I can go back to simulation, to evaluate, 0 stripes, and you see how nicely they go from left to right. Thank you very much. This will conclude our demo number 6.